Hello, and welcome to another Killing Floor 3 video. With the Rearmament update just around the corner, I wanted to use this time to focus more on a topic based around weapons. In regards to Killing Floor 3's weapons, we have about 30 weapons total, 4 primary weapons and 1 pistol per perk. It is a bit lackluster as what the community has said since beta and launch. I wanted to make a video on some weapons I would like to see come to Killing Floor 3, new and old. As I mentioned, I won't bring up weapons that Tripwire teased prior, which was the Scorpion Evo and the lever action from one of their first panels they had right after launch. That video seemed to have gone unlisted at the time of this video. To also add, Tripwire has mentioned their dedication to adding more real-world weapons, which gave me the idea to create this video. As a little note, there is also a small hint of what weapons that may be coming to Killing Floor 3 in future updates or seasons. In the hub area in the firing range, there is a display that has weapon outlines on it that many players have most likely seen by now. Here the weapon outline shows a Chris Vector, M16, Scorpion Evo, lever action rifle, AK-19, double barrel shotgun, P90, and possibly a stoner from Killing Floor 2. Out of these 8 weapons, 4 of these weapons have been teased. 2 are confirmed to be coming, which is the AK-19 and the double barrel shotgun, being part of the rearmament update coming out October 31st. I won't be mentioning these weapons for this list, but before this video starts, what weapons would you like to see come to Killing Floor 3? Old weapons from 1 and 2, or maybe new weapons we haven't seen before? This is just a fun list, so don't take it too seriously. Starting off with the sharpshooter, one of the primary weapons I hope to see return to Killing Floor 3 is the crossbow. The crossbow has been a staple sharpshooter weapon since Killing Floor 1 and made its return in Killing Floor 2. It's a no-brainer to bring it back for the sharpshooter since there is a similar arrow pickup mechanic in Killing Floor 3 due to the Yumi. Since every new weapon being added post-launch seems to be adding 3 new mods, I think one mod for the crossbow would be Frozen Tipped Arrow mod, similar to the compound bow in Killing Floor 2, where the compound bow could swap from frozen tips to normal arrows. This would feel more suited for the sharpshooter and work well with the skills like Easy Prey that are status-based. The sharpshooter perk seems to be lacking any real-world weapons, but to throw some ideas around, I was a bit surprised there was no bolt-action rifle. So throwing in the Remington M700, M99 from Killing Floor 1 and 2, or the Mosin Nagant for fun, would be interesting to see as options. The Mosin Nagant had an interesting mechanic in Killing Floor 2 with the bayonet, and the M99 was a powerhouse, and could be an alternative to the Samaritan. In terms of mods, most are easy based on receiver mods for faster cycling overall, while the Nagant could still have the bayonet as a unique mod to it. For semi-auto rifles, or DMRs, the SR-25, SVU, or the SVD, or even the SCAR 17 to add into the pool of real guns. Obviously they could add the SCAR 17 in, but that would be a lazy way to go since we already have the SCAR. So adding other variants like the SR-25 for a standard DMR look, Dragunov SVU for something a bit different and still fit the futuristic theme due to it being a bullpup. Moving on to the Commando, even though the perk is receiving a new gun in the rearmament update, there could still be ideas to throw in for it. I think the Commando perk weapons might be the easiest because looking back, the Commando had the Thompson or the Tommy gun, a 9mm varmint rifle, the MG42, and the FAL to name some weapons from the past. Commando in Killing Floor 3 has 3 ARs, soon to be 4, and 1 machine gun. So adding in a machine gun that is belt fed, for example the M249 SAW, would be interesting to throw in some variety to the machine gun category. While in terms of assault rifles, I feel that adding the M4 with the M203 as a mod back into the game would be a classic and a potential setup if the Demolitionist ends up being added back to the game in the future. It could function similar to medic weapons, where you could get rid of the underbarrel for a laser sight or maybe a foregrip this time around. Even potentially having a mod for different grenade types, like how the medic darts have a confusion dart mod, if they were to be merged together like the MP6. There could also be standard guns like the XM8 that could fit the futuristic aesthetic. I would like to see the G36C come back as an actual commando weapon since in Killing Floor 2, the G36C was considered a SWAT weapon, when advertised as an assault rifle. My only concern would be the mods. Chances are the mods for these guns would probably be more focused on sights, barrels, or maybe just the receivers. The Engineer perk is up next, and assuming that this perk will follow its specialty, shotguns would be the main focus. Even though the Engineer does have the G33 and Ifrit, adding something like the M79 grenade launcher would be cool, but if in the future Demo comes back, I feel like that would be a weapon they would save for it rather than give it to the engineer. In terms of shotgun, a single shell loading shotgun is missing, like the M1014 or the combat shotgun, the 870 or the Mossberg 500 for example. I believe the M1014 or combat shotgun might fit the bill better as it's a semi-automatic shotgun that is shell loaded, as the CSG and the Bonebreaker are two completely different types of shotguns, one being pump and the other being automatic. Having a gun similar to the M1014 where it's a combination of the two weapons merging power with fire rate, but having to load individual shells, a smaller mag size, would be a good thing, but with the double barrel coming in soon, maybe that might fit the part better. Moving on to the medic. The medic is similar to Killing Floor 1's medic, where it specializes in SMGs. So we have the Mac 11, or the VS11, and the MP6, which is the MP5. I won't mention the Vector or the P90, as it has already been teased in-game, but would be one of the weapons I hope to see in-game, as it fits the future theme and is a classic weapon from previous Killing Floors. Same thing goes with the Scorpion Evo, as it was mentioned during the very first panel and is a weapon we haven't seen yet in the series. In terms of SMGs, I think the MP7 would be a good addition to the medic. A bit of nostalgia for those who played Killing Floor 1, but I would think it would play similar to the VS11 besides the horrendous recoil and damage. Another SMG I would hope to see would be the MPX or the MTAR. I would lean more for the MTAR or the X95. I would love to see a medic gun that has healing and has options for ammo mods, not just biological damage as the base for a tier 4 weapon, for example. The X95 could have the damage potential to be a tier 4 medic gun, or sit slightly above the MP6 in terms of damage, but with a little less ammo reserve in comparison. I think that would give the medic a better option, unless they decide to give us a healing Vulcan in the future. With the last two perks on the list, I think they would be the hardest to really think of some weapons for them to have as an add-on. Starting with the Firebug, I think the main issue is that we already have a fire-based shotgun, and a grenade launcher that can create ground fires as well. As mentioned before, the M4 with the M203 launcher would be a good fit as well here, and have it with initial fire damage like the HRG from Killing Floor 2, but we should not go that route. The obvious route for the Firebug is creating something that never existed like the Helios rifle as a dedicated weapon, or having something similar to the flare revolvers or the Mac 11 with incendiary rounds. The Firebug seems to be more open in terms of weapon choices. One given weapon I would like to see return for the Firebug is the Husk Cannon. It was silly to use but still was fun giving the Husks a taste of their own medicine. Besides the Husk Cannon, I would like to see a new weapon, either an AR or SMG for the Firebug to have that can create ground fire. Even a dedicated grenade launcher like the M320 could be one for the Firebug, or even a fire-based melee weapon to fit with some of the skills the Firebug has, like the Ion Thruster could potentially be a melee weapon specifically for the Firebug as an example. Last but not least, the Ninja perk. Similar to the Firebug, there isn't really much to say for the Ninja as it specializes in slicing and dicing. The Berserker has been teased to be coming back after the Gunslinger, which will specialize in bashing heads in. So the Ninja could potentially get the Buzzsaw Bow or the Machete as an example from previous Killing Floors. The Ninja introduces a new mechanic with throwable weapons, kunais and shurikens. The perk itself is a direct inspiration to actual ninjas' armory, like the bow and arrow, katanas, kunai and shurikens as an example. It's difficult to say, but adding a sickle and chain would be interesting to see, or even simple claws could be added to the game and fit the theme for the ninja. I would be more interested in seeing the sickle and chain as it could function similar to the ninja's gadget, but instead going to the target, you could pull them towards you, but only works on Siths, Clots, Crawlers, Gorefast, Sirens, and maybe Husks. The sickle could also have a change in blade types, addition to poison, stumble coatings. They could also add fire, ice, or even acid as the unique mod. The sickle and chain could be aimed similar to the kunai and shuriken, while having the same mechanics of swapping between modes. Aiming allows you to throw the sickle to pull a single target back to you, while also being ranged melee with the sickle being thrown around. The alt mode could fit the ninja mechanics with it being close range melee. And with that, those are some weapons and some mod ideas I thought of. While I do hope that we see more realistic weapons added to Killing Floor 3, I do hope to see some weapons we never seen before in the Killing Floor franchise, as near the end of their life cycles they tend to add futuristic weapons like the Z Eradication Device, Helios Rifle, and Kilowatt, to name a few. While this video was for fun, I hope to see each perk receive some new weapons throughout the first year of Killing Floor 3. What are your thoughts? What other weapons would be interesting to see? Besides that, I hope you enjoyed this video.